Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and now, before we do begin, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of events happening. We had Deku, and we had Catwoman, aka Nejire Hado. Now, Nejire, she was going to rob a museum. Take something that was on display that was worth quite a lot of money. To her, tonight was something typical. It was boring, it was, well, a paycheck, and routine. But Batman, tall, dark, brooding, yeah, that wall of muscle decided to get into her way. And he certainly did pay for it. Batman chased her down and even tried to take back the artifact. However, Mirako, she came rolling in to battle both of them. However, she chose to fight the notorious vigilante known as the Batman. And that should have been the end of it, right? Well, it wasn't. Batman and Mirako got into a brawl. Deku pulled out quite a bit of tactics. The two rolled off of a building, smashing into the, fire escapes on the way down. Then they had a back alley brawl where Deku not only did he try to fight her using his mind, tactics, and gadgets, he even decided to fight just a little dirty. And Mirako, she was taken down. However, she got her pound of flesh taking on Deku. Then, Deku, he managed to track down Catwoman again, even following her to her address after she injured him. Then, Deku managed to get back the artifact and leave a calling card. Afterwards, he went back to the Batcave where he needed to recover. Several bruised ribs, and a broken shoulder. A broken arm. That is not good. Right now, Deku's gear is out of commission. He does have another suit he can use, but now he does need to commission a spare. Even possibly another variant. One with heavier armor, stronger plating, or one that does have a bit more specs added to it. Lucius, he's already doing a lot when it does come down to improving some technology. But integrating that all into a simple suit, well, he wouldn't exactly call the bat suit simple. It's a bit more complicated. Deku, he had some sleep, and Mr. Midoriya is currently trying to figure out the best way to approach Miss Hado. There's a number of ways this can go. The first thing, he turned the artifact back into the authorities, but he didn't call the police. That one's a bit harder to explain. He can pretend to be an anonymous caller, but none of that would really work. If she's smart, she would cover her tracks. Tonight was the big heist. Yes, Catwoman is notorious, but relatively unknown. The Hero Committee doesn't have people going after her. And even then, she could just pay them off and walk the other way. There's no real good way to turn in Catwoman without him having to do so in person. Even then, the police would probably not be very likely to arrest her. Batman does take on criminals, notorious thugs, gang members, and he has tangled with a villain. Not a well-known one, but some that have gotten at least a small reputation. And he does currently watch the news this morning. Him going to sip a cup of black coffee. And right now, he does get a turn looking at the pot before he does go to listen and give the coffee maker his full attention, turning to look around and going to figure some things out. Him going over them in his mind as the broadcast does begin talking about it. Last night, in a surprising shock of news, a museum was robbed. However, the artifact was brought to the authorities. Reports are still coming in. However, many are claiming to say the Batman was involved. Batman's involvement is relatively unknown, but the battering that was used to stick the bag to the door may be his, a notorious calling card of the infamous vigilante. Many speculate why he would return this artifact. It is worth well over $10 million. And while security, they are currently being investigated for their negligence, there are also many other speculations. Last night, Mirako, one of the pro heroes in the top 5, she was also brought in to emergency care for her injuries and a reported fight with said vigilante. The Batman not only faced off against Mirako, but he took on quite the amount of damage from what she has said. And it does have a cut to Mirako sitting there in a hospital bed. Right now, her with a bandage in the middle of her forehead where Deku did whip her with his cape. And she does declare and talk about it. It's a bullshit fight from that fucking vigilante. The guy does know how to tumble. She'll give him that. But if she ever does see that bastard again, she wants a damn rematch. It was fun. Though he was chasing that woman. He's assuming she was the thief. And, well, he did say she was a criminal. Though she doesn't believe he's really a bad guy. It's weird, so there's that. But then it also does raise the question of why the fuck he isn't a pro. What do you mean I can't say fuck? Cut. It shifting back. The woman gonna clear her throat and continue talking about it. Deku somewhat chuckling. And Alfred, he does come down the stairs with breakfast, expressing setting down the plate, and then turning and going to sit down a container of painkillers, telling Izuku, well, they've really done all they can without taking him to the hospital. And while he is a little rusty on his medicine, he is going to keep giving him perfect opportunities to brush that off, isn't he? Sorry, Alfred. Didn't expect some sort of energy projection quirk. You didn't. Though I am quite intrigued to understand your next move. You didn't search the apartment for your father's watch. I didn't. I figured Mr. Midoriya, he could come in, talk with her, and figure a few things out. But that's a bit too high profile. And Mr. Midoriya, he wouldn't exactly do that. I see. So you wish to send me as a proxy? No, actually, Alfred. I need you to get into contact with Lucius. Figure out a bit more about what we can do with the armor. I see. Any new developments? If he does have any brand new toys, he can add them to the list. Right now, there's a lot of other stuff we need to talk about developing. The car is not bad, but it's relatively simple. I see. Well, I wouldn't call a bat symbol, a jet engine on the back, and armor plated tires simple, but I am not rich. I know, Alfred. Simple for what it's supposed to be. I like it to be more like an armored tank, but that's relatively harder to accommodate. It is, sir. Okay, so a nice little middle ground. I want it to be more durable and have a lot more tricks. I'm not expecting the world, but I would at least like a country, if that makes sense. You want something better than you already have. Yes. Never settle for less. Ah, yes, something your father did quite say. Yeah. This does sound like a ridiculous idea, Izuku. But if you're certain of it, then you can. Well, it's not just that. Deku turning back and expressing. While he's in his disguise, he does have another place he does wish to look at. Another place he does wish to go. He may have. Well, he may have found something he's been looking for a long, long time. And that is. It's Gotham. I'm not sure if it'll be there, but I need to check. I just. I have to know. Alright, well, if you're ready then, Izuku, I can drop you off. That'd be much appreciated. Though, I'll need to handle a few things. I need about an hour. Him nodding his head and going to leave. And right now, we do cut to 3 hours later. A lot need to happen. Deku had to get all dolled up for his meeting with a pretty woman. And we do have a man walking down the road. Him carrying a business suit and somewhat messing around with the object in his mouth. Right now, he could be best described as a man with short hair that has been combed, some gel on it and parted to the side, black tinted glasses, and a very trim mustache. Right now, it covering the entirety of his upper lip. A well-groomed looking man in a plaid suit carrying a briefcase. And right now, he does walk down the road of Gotham before coming to a building and going to walk up the stairs, stepping inside as he does to bring his hand up, grabbing the matchstick from his mouth and going to hold the door. Someone going to stare at him a bit confused as he does going to nod his head, give them a grin, and go to turn, waving at them and talking about it. It's alright, he's fine. Though, have a nice day. Him going to step in. And right now, he does make his way up to the apartment. As he does a knock on the door and wait. We're right now going to stand there. And nothing happens. He does a knock. Then knocking again. And then knocking again with his left hand. Right now, him feeling a bit of pain in his right arm. And there is the door does it finally open after a minute. A woman in a spaghetti strapped top does it open the door. Right now, her in some short shorts, turning and going to wave off a few different cats, talking about it. It's far too early in the morning for all of this. Who is he? Evening, ma'am. It's afternoon. Though, I have a bit of a business proposal for you. Not interested. Her gonna slam the door. Right now, Matches sticking his foot into the door jamb and going to stop it. And she does lean forwards and glare at him, talking about it. She does have a firearm, if that didn't get the point across. Ma'am, I'm not here to threaten you. In fact, I'm here to pay you. Pay me. Who are you? Matches. You can call me Matches. Name's Matches Malone, if you want an actual proper name. And again, I'm here to pay for an item I believe you may have in your inventory. My inventory. I know who you are. My employer, he got tipped off as to who you were, and he didn't really want to come in person. Him going to bring his hand up and go to flip it. A business card magically appearing in his hand, holding it out. And she does take the card to Wayne Enterprises. Her glaring down at it, and her eyes do some go a little wide. Midoriya Enterprises. Right now, her going to stare at it and just gonna blink. The rich boy sent you? Yes, the rich boy sent me. You stole his father's watch. See, that item has a lot of value to Mr. Midoriya. And it is one of the last things he does have of his family. He said it was his grandfather's, his dad gave it to him, and he busted the face of it on some kid's lip whenever he talked trash about his mother after she died. See, that watch has no monetary value to you, but that's only if you take my offer and accept about $2 million in cash. $2 million in cash. Right here with me. That is correct. Untraceable bonds, and, well, we go our separate ways. I get the item you may have in your possession, you get the money, and hopefully this never happens again. He would rather just like to pay you instead of having you steal from him. Your specialty is quite unique. I see. Her gonna open the door and go to lean on it. And he's going to pay for this. Yes. The money? Him holding out the briefcase to her. And she does stare at it before he does a break of his right arm and gonna put the weight of the case on it, opening it up for her to see. And she doesn't even let it get open halfway before she's to bring her hand up, closing it. Talking about it. Okay, yeah, that's quite a lot of money. She'll pay for that. She'll let him pay for the watch. But how does she know this isn't some sort of sting operation? The sting operation? Lady, this is Gotham. Besides, my boss would rather like it if I go my separate ways away from him. Straight-laced rich boy doesn't like much shady business around him. Last shady thing that happened to him put a hole in his mom and pop. So yeah, I'd say he wants that watch. Fair enough. Though, he's really willing to pay that much for it. Yes. Interesting. Stay out here. I'll need to grab the watch. You don't want the money? I need to make sure I still have it first. You said broken face on it? Still works, but the glass is broken. Cracked. That's how he described it. Her nodding her head. Closing the door, and Deku, he does get to wait. Right now, expecting a plan of her. Attack him and get the case. That's the best bet here. Though, her running off, jumping off of the balcony, and going to leave in broad daylight is not a good option for her. Too many people would see her, and if she's acting as a masked pro, yeah, that won't be too good. She'd be seen more as a vigilante. They don't see her, they don't recognize her, and the local pros, well, if they've got any reports of her, then they would know she's not in the system. So, should you just kick this door down, break in, get his family possessions back, and leave? It's a tempting offer. But what if she sold that damn watch? What if that watch is collecting dust in someone's fucking shop and they're just waiting for someone else to buy it? It'll be part of a gang trade off, or it's covered in someone else's blood and in a police lockup. Part of an evidence bag that some fucking corrupt cop is going to rinse off and steal. Fix the face of it, and then it's untraceable, unrecognizable. His family heirloom gone. Someone better not have that fucking watch. Otherwise, he might lose it on this lady. Deku's knuckles cracking as he does grip his left hand into a tight fist. The matchstick going to break. And he does reach into his jacket after releasing his fist, grabbing another matchstick and going to twiddle it in his mouth. Before the door does it open, and she does a gesture to the man inside. Him stepping in as she does lead him over to the table in a small dining room. Him setting the case down and going to turn to her. And she does set down the watch. Right now, her going to watch as he does reach out with his right arm. It wincing in pain as he does watch her pull the watch back up. Talking about it. Case. She needs to count it. Him nodding and going to let her have it. As she does open it and silently begin counting. Going over the cash for anything that could be used to track it. And she does sit there silently. Matches walking over to a window and going to look out. Right now, him still messing with a matchstick as if it's a cigarette in his lips. Waiting for her to either start a conversation or to say something. The lady's probably got a ton of questions. Mainly about Batman? Maybe. But if she knew Batman was in her living room, that would probably be a whole other series of questions she does want an answer to. Then again, he could try starting a conversation. So, burglary. Yeah. How'd you get into that? I mean, arson for me. First time happened, me and my brother. Things were so complicated, but it was the fraud, the money we're after. Was it the same thing? Sort of. More like, after living a life the way I was, things were a little bit more complicated. Her flicking through the stack of hundreds, nodding her head, and going to talk about it. If everything was so complicated, Then she thought about taking the route less traveled. I mean, really. All she needed to do was be a pro, and that's it. Be a good little girl and fall in line when everyone keeps saying the same damn thing about her. She didn't care. It was Gotham. All she did was pick up and leave. But the city's got its claws in her. They bleed. She came home. That was it. It was complicated. Ain't shit always in this city. You done counting over there? I'm about halfway. You could have a seat. I'm fine. I really don't want to be here. Not really a cat person, you know? Prefer dogs? No, just allergic. You know. I took something before, so I'm a bit drowsy. You get me? Uh-huh. How much did your employer tell you about me? Not much. Just he received a tip about his family heirloom, and that pointed to you. He didn't know how much to go about this, so he thought he'd just skip to the end where he paid you more money than it's worth. That sound about fair? Very fair. Her continuing to count. Right now, her occasionally glancing up to see matches, just going to flick the match in his hand. And she does go to focus on him. Something's off about this guy. The way his body is moving, the way he's favoring his left. I mean, the guy seems to be left-handed. But at the same time, he seems to walk with a bit of a limp. But his face, he looks familiar. Where the hell has he seen his face before? I mean, it's a little odd. Uncanny? That's definitely a word for it. But that's not the right word at all. Her continuing to count. Though, she definitely can't say she's against this. She did find a buyer for the watch, though she was hoping to haggle quite a bit more money out of them. Though this is certainly well above that pay stamp. So she'll take it. Right now, her gonna close the case and go to turn. Her sliding the watch across the table as the man does a step forwards and go to catch it, as he's about to slide off of the table. And he does look it over and stare at it. And she does watch him raise his glasses to get a better look. Yep. Him running his thumb over the broken face. This is it, alright. Exactly as described and exactly as pictured. Gotta say, though, if I need any information, can I come to you? No. Really? Not even as a buyer? Mr. Midoriya has heard quite a bit about you. In fact, he's been paying for a lot of information. I'd say it's a good idea to have a billionaire as a client, don't you? Yes, but typically I don't like working with people I've already robbed. Things get complicated. I sell to people outside Gotham, so I rob everyone inside Gotham. Quite a neat little trick. I see. Might want to be careful. Mr. Midoriya is not a man of violence. But others are quick to it. Him pocketing the watch and going to turn, making his way for the door to leave. And she does the watch as whenever he does a reach out with his right hand, he does go to grab it and pull it open. Him going to have a small reaction that does tell her one thing. The man's injured. Or something else is going on here. Matches Malone. A man favoring his left side, but who is also ignoring his right. Though he might have been caught up in a few things. Though she thinks it's wrong. Why would Batman come marching into her domain? Her home? I mean, she roughed up Batman quite a bit. And even then, after a battle with Miracle, she doubts anyone could walk away like that. No, she feels just a little paranoid. Batman could have broken in here and done a lot more. Especially while she was in the shower. The guy didn't turn her in. Looks like she's covered her tracks better than she thought. Though, she does have a ton of other questions. How to handle all of it? How to go about it? And that is the main thing. Though right now, let's cut back to Matches. Matches, he does wander through the streets of Gotham. He does take rights, lefts, and he does even go to pause, trying to find out where he is in his own head and going back to it. And right now, he does go to find an emporium. Him going to walk into it and going to head down the stairs. Before he does, going to hear about a few things. The person, they do go to talk about it. Right now, they've got quite a few wares on display if they're willing to buy. Though, there's not really a lot they can talk about. Looking for anything particularly interesting? Yes. I'm looking for a gun. Used in a crime? That does not narrow it down. We've got all types of things here. What's your fancy? Looking for a gun that killed anyone in particular? If that's the case, then I've got the gun that killed Hasashi and Inkomadoria. How's that for a fancy? Sounds fancy, but is it the real piece? I can assure you, it's the real piece. Alright then, bring it out. The man nodding, making his way into the back, and coming back out with it in a glass display. And Deku, he does stare at the gun. Right now, the man going to remove the glass top and go to hand him the gun. And Deku does to take it and go to investigate it. Just as he thought. It's a fake. This gun's fake. No, I can assure you, sir, it's not. It's quite real. Yeah, I'm not buying it. First of all, looks like the slide was taken from a different version of the gun. I mean, come on. We all know that the real gun, it was thrown. The guy tossed it at the scene and the police picked it up. He dropped it, so it should have marks about here or here on the side. This one doesn't have any. Either you tried taking care of it, or it's a fake gun. Along with that, if my memory serves, him going to click it and release the clip. Him pulling it out and going to stare. No. What do you mean, no? This is a fake. You don't got the right gun. And anyone who bought this, you could trick. You ever get the real gun in stock, go ahead and reach out to me. Or, well, reach out to my friends. I'm sure they'll tell me. I've been meaning to get my hand on that piece for a while. How much you want to pay for it? A lot. And I do mean a lot, my friend. Though, if you know what's good for you, next time I have to come here, this place might go ahead and light itself up. Free. Really. You want to threaten me. You want to sell fake items. How much of the shit in this room is real? Everything from the villains who've all been here. What is that? The rusty chain from Talk's Chainsaw? I highly doubt that's the real piece, isn't it? Now, either you get your shit together, or the next time someone figures it out, they won't be too forgiving. Him tossing the gun back to the display, and the man does go to check the glass to make sure it didn't crack. And Deku does go to leave, annoyed that his search was cut to an end. He thought he finally found it. And that, it only does aggravate him more. Him heading home, getting out of this disguise, and going to set down his father's watch back in its proper case. And right now, Deku, he does have a lot going through his mind. He does take a seat in his father's chair and go to stare down at the small case containing the watch. He does like to bring it out for special occasions, small events, but finally getting it back after all this time, it does ease some of the anger he does feel inside him. But there's more. There's a lot of rage inside him. And he does know it. Though he doesn't know. He can control it. Saying that he doesn't know how to control it is a lie. It is a lie. Saying he doesn't know how to control this rage, this anger, it's false. A falsity he'd like to believe. He's learned how to harness his rage. He's learned how to harness his anger. He's learned how to focus it into a point that's as dull as he wants or as sharp as he wants. He could kill. But that's not what Batman needs to be. If Batman kills, he's just another criminal. Right now, though, Batman's becoming someone terrifying. Mirko lost to the Batman. And people have been talking. The biggest headline all over the local channels. Hell, Matches had a few contacts who were wondering about what to do. They might have caught the attention of the Batman. And a week ago, they weren't worried. After last night, they were. Matches might not have to deal with it, but he will try to smooth things over with his contacts. With his friends, with his allies, with everyone he does know. But Bruce Wayne. No. Shit, I did it again. Fuck. Izuku Midoriya. He's not that type of person. Izuku Midoriya could care less. While he could be the guy who could send, and did, send flowers to a pretty young pro who was in the hospital after some injuries, yeah. That's just about it. A woman in service got injured in the line of duty, and he's just trying to reach out, letting her know she isn't going unnoticed. There are people out there who do appreciate the struggles of a fighter, the struggles a pro hero may potentially face in their career. And while those flowers were sent, we do currently have Deku. Deku, he does go to walk out of the room and go to meditate. A lot going through his mind. Lucius is currently dealing with some experimental medical tech. And while he isn't fully certain about testing it on anyone, let alone a person, there is also the fact that Deku is worried about using a healing quirk to help him. If people discovered that Bruce Wayne needed the assistance of a private doctor, that could be bad. There is someone he can trust. Though, if he does trust them, that would only mean things got really bad. He'd only like to rely on that in case things did go that bad. A broken limb can heal. It can be set and given time to recover, and with proper channeling, hopefully the techniques he's been taught, he can speed up his recovery as much as physically possible without the assistance of a quirk. And that's the main thing Deku wants to focus on. And this does go on. Right now, Batman does disappear. And people do even somewhat start talking about it. After 2 days without Batman, people have been asking a question. If the Dark Knight has been seen. Though, no one's been able to give an answer. A number of things have happened. And while pros have been trying to jump in and intervene, nothing has really gone down. But a week later, Deku, he's already back out and in the action. Right now, he does plan to stick to the shadows. He does plan to recover just a bit more. Just a bit more. If he does keep focus on it, then he should be fine. He'll play Batman with the shadows for now. Not physical, not confrontational, and if he is, then he'll mainly focus to the left side. He does want to get back out there. Do what he can. And tonight, Batman does face the most grueling challenge he's ever had to face. Right now, he does take down a group of villains. They were all a bit terrified. And Deku, he's pretty sure one guy nearly crapped his pants the moment he saw a Batarang. The guy, yeah, he wanted to run, but he ran into the shadows. Deku caught him and strung him right up. Another guy, he wasn't too worried. But after Deku twisted his arm, dislocated his elbow, and then broke his shoulder, the man roared out enough pain that he released a blood-curdling scream. And that was another problem. But then, the ground started shaking. And Gotham, it experienced the worst earthquake it ever experienced in history. Things went bad. And the warehouse, yeah, they're just lucky it didn't come down. Though chaos, it did come in quite badly. Deku, he might as well have been in a can of sardines. And you might as well have chucked that sardine in a blender. Since that is the best way to describe what he felt like when the ground started shaking. And he couldn't really even get his footing underneath him. Gotham went into chaos. And Batman, he was just brought along for the ride. His mind itself felt terror. How is a man supposed to combat elements like that? And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.